Hi guys, we're back to do the live update for Aquarius as promised. A little bit late, but for those of you in America, good morning. Okay, now I've tuned into the energy ahead of time. And again, if you are wanting a booking, you can go to the link directly below. Otherwise, you will find it on another video and I will edit it after and we can add the information there. Now, be mindful, we have just under a week, which we're in shadow period of Mercury retrograde. So as much as you can, try and do your meditation, try and get tasks done. Be mindful that it's a time frame where it may require extra work and effort to be able to achieve basic tasks. It's also a time where we can have crosswires with communication, problems with technology, and there's other aspects happening, but I want to do that very much separately. Now, upon tuning into your energy, there is this frequency going on about your confusion with other people's attitudes, and it's like you are seeing things very black and white, but at the same time, it's almost like you want to try and keep the emotions out of it, but it's taking you there. So with this emotional pattern that's going on, it's making you actually detach in to the emotion of how you're feeling, but you're trying to avoid it. And there's a particular energy that's taking you into that rabbit hole. And I really am seeing March as, you know, not getting caught up in the rabbit hole, because we can become quite smoke and mirrors with situations. We can get to a point where we may be dreaming up scenarios in our mind, especially when we're in trigger mode and the communication with the cross wires is coming through. Also, if you are on the fence within a connection, and you've kind of been there for a while, what you can find is you can come to a place where you actually do a 360 and move yourself out of a situation, and it can be very abrupt. I am saying those of you who that's relevant for, it could come to a place where you sort of look at it and you say, I'm not so sure if I want to entertain this scenario anymore. And that can be because you've tolerated it for a long time. Don't be surprised if you're actually having ringing in your ears around that time as well. And I am seeing you to be having a massive download, and it can be in relation to you within your awakening and the things you're wanting to achieve. And, you know, it sort of feels like the domain you're in is pulling you back to keep you stuck. But with that stuck frequency, what you may find is you're not wanting to remain stuck anymore, and it's actually going to assist you with liberation. I just keep seeing an energy of karmic changes. I'm also seeing a dynamic around you guys with family. And with the family, a lot of it is mirroring your own given life. You're trying to avoid a pattern within a family-related dynamic, but at the same time, it's almost like you're living it and you're experiencing it through your own eyes. And that's really confusing you to a degree. I'm also seeing those of you, you're not really sure on the path you're moving forward with. And you're also coming to a place where it might have been someone who betrayed you. You're really up in your head about it, and you're really thinking about, okay, why exactly did that happen? That can be something that does come to the surface for you. It can also be where you're thinking, you know, is this the correct path? And am I betraying myself from seeing the truth of the matter? Again, I am seeing a pattern happening where something previously happened in childhood and you're correlating it with what's going on right here, right now. I do feel your mind to be very heavily on love, although you do have other dramas going on. It's really going to be, there could be movement within a household. There also can be an energy where you're looking at life and you're seeing where some of the aspects of your control is outside of you. Some of you actually have, again, I'm seeing a choice between two roads, two people, and this will be for those of you who are on the fence, or potentially those of you who aren't happy and you're considering a new path. And it doesn't have to be a direct individual, but it can be, because there's really two individuals here. Now, this could directly be a person who's coming back into your life and they're feeling like a new energy altogether. So it could very well be that the person has transformed, and they're wanting to offer you more than what they potentially did before. And it's whether or not you feel comfortable with moving forward with this. Again, this can be a situation where you had been in a relationship with them and something went down, it didn't go according to plan, and now they're offering you, you know, the whole lot. And you may even already be in this situation now where fear-based frequencies can be coming through, and you're looking at it thinking, hey, you know, do I trust this situation? Can I trust myself? Am I seeing things correctly? Should I proceed forward? You're trying to be very rational when it does come to the situation. So again, I am seeing that you're trying to put everything black and white. You're trying to make everything quite neutral, to detach the emotions and make rational decisions, which is actually a safety mechanism. There can be a lot of conflict around you moving into March, and it may be because you're looking at things quite black and white. It is causing conflict for you when you're assessing this situation. Again, I'm feeling that you're keeping your cards quite close to your chest, and I do feel as though you're trying to create healthy boundaries, and you're trying to make sure people don't manipulate you into seeing things a particular way. It is evolving, but it's going to take a little bit of time for you to have that meditation in order for you to make a decision on how to proceed forward. I do feel there is one individual that might be quite pushy with you. Again, this doesn't have to be in romance, but it's really oozing romance at the moment. I keep seeing you trying to avoid conflict. Some people, and I'm feeling a romantic interest may be, you might be having to deal with a certain dynamic, and within relationships, for those of you who it's relevant, it may be that there's a lot of responsibility and some of your hopes and dreams don't correlate with this connection. I feel if you directly avoid it and you don't deal with it head on, it's going to cause conflict. Some of you might be trying to avoid quite a nasty person where they're quite, like I say, I keep feeling this very dominant energy around a particular individual, and it could be for somebody that ends up watching this video, but it feels quite a dominant energy. You're also trying to focus on your finances. And now, as I've mentioned in the previous videos, we do have the nodes in Cancer and Capricorn. So a lot of what we've been doing from January moving forward, and that is the total of March, being where the nodes are positioned, it is about getting grounded within, you know, where our tribe is, what our family dynamic is, what tribe looks like to us, who we want to mix with. You're trying to fine-tune everything in your life, and you're also trying to be assertive when it comes to your finances, and that's the nodes in Capricorn, you know, really being strict about it. Some shape or form, I feel, at a heart chakra level, you're giving, but some of you are very concerned about the aspect of finances at the moment, and it can be getting to a point. I'm just managing the chat. There you go. Financially speaking, some of you are trying to manifest a new position, and so it can be that that's going to come in, but there can be an aspect of a delay. Be very careful about your contracts. You know, really read the fine print, especially during Mercury retrograde. It can be a delay. It can be missed emails. Again, I'm seeing you are more focused on love, but this is an area that needs accountability in it. And it can be that, you know, there's one area that's really taking a lot of your frequency. Don't overlook other areas of your life, especially in March. What you're going to find is there's going to be a lot going on. And during that process, you know, we end up at the end of it having to pick up pieces in some shape or form, but it's what's going to show us what is and what isn't working, and what is balanced and what isn't. And everything you try and deal with within March is going to be problematic to a degree. It's going to take a hell of a lot more effort to actually achieve those things. I'm seeing also an issue with what other people perceive you to be doing as correct and what you think is correct. And there is conflict when it does come to communication and within family. You really need to pay attention to your health as well, especially when the emotions are super triggered. It may be indulgence or a vice as per se to cope with situations. But I really feel that emotionally speaking, you're not, after a situation, I feel you're not going to want to learn things the hard way. And I do feel there might be a 360 for you guys. When it does come to communication, I feel you will communicate effectively, providing you're actually looking at the other person's side of the fence. Be really mindful, as I said, because the way we're going to communicate this month is going to be pretty icky. If you're waiting for somebody to communicate with you, I do see this coming in, and it can come out of left field. And I do feel this is an aspect of you growing through a situation, but actually gaining closure on a situation as well. It's going to reignite the connection between the both of you. So if, for instance, you're in a relationship already and it hasn't quite been balanced and you've been trying to get things off the ground, so random. Tonight is a very interesting night. You probably have to delete the video now. Spiritually speaking, you're going to find that you're going to be able to manifest a lot better. But within the connection, I do feel if both sides of the fence have done the work and you're not projecting onto each other, it will create balance within the connection. But you're going to find if you're projecting towards the person or they're doing that to you, especially on the first day of the month, it's a very iffy point for us in relationships to make hasty decisions. If we're on the fence, it can mean that we can actually do a 360 and leave a connection. And I do feel for a pocket of you, there is this very strict energy where if you've been tolerating something for a very long time, you could cut it loose energetically if you feel you're not spiritually connected to it. I do feel for those of you who are romantically connected in with a person and it's something that you've had a long time standing with, or you're totally in a surety about it in your mind, I feel it's going to get back off the ground again, especially if you've been waiting for this person to come back in. Although you're going to have the power of the manifestation within it, I still feel as though you're going to revert your passions to assess the situation first. I don't see you jumping into it 360 where it's like, look, all hands on deck, because you're wanting to really see outside of the offer what else there is in the equation to be offered. And I do feel the song from Tina Turner come through this morning when I was tuning into it. It's What's Love Got to Do with It? And it's like you're being very, and it feels very detached, but very practical. Almost, okay, no, I need to hear your side, or I need to see your perspective on a situation. And you really have to have an intellectual understanding with the person you are connected in with. And I feel if they're not grasping your side of the fence and there's conflict, it may deplete the passion. It does take you a while to get to a point where you cut people out. But if you're at that point, it's because you've literally tried everything. You're also more inclined to be a friend with the person prior to getting into a connection with them. So if you have that friendship there with them, it's gonna go the distance. So don't be fearful that, you know, especially in astrology when we see transits, we can get very freaked out that perhaps something's going to go pear-shaped. Not if you're in your own frequency and you're concerned about your side of the fence. But I do feel for those of you who had a betrayal in a connection and you're attempting to move forward, this can be with another individual in which you already have. Again, I am seeing a 360 where there's two individuals coming towards you to communicate, and you may be piggy in the middle. You're really not sure. I feel by mid-month, a lot of us are going to see the whole smoke and mirrors effect, and that can be where people's frequency can be higher, where they're super romantic, super understanding, promising the world, only to underdeliver. It's going to be harder to deliver certain situations during March, and that's because with the energy being harder for us to achieve completing tasks, by overpromising, you can end up with a lot of disappointment. And I do feel for those of you who had a betrayal in a connection and you're attempting to move forward, this can be with another individual in which you already have. Again, I am seeing a 360 where there's two individuals coming towards you to communicate, and you may be piggy in the middle. You're really not sure. I feel by mid-month, a lot of us are going to see the whole smoke and mirrors effect, and that can be where people's frequency can be higher, where they're super romantic, super understanding, promising you will end up under-delivering. So don't bite off more than you can chew moving through March. Be very mindful that between the 20th and the 31st, that pocket can be a time frame where we may take the rose-coloured glasses off. There's mass potential for it to be romantic. But at the same time, the way we're going to be dealing with our core wounds is going to be very unique. With the Aries energy, we might be very abrupt with people, especially if we can see that they're in a lower frequency and they're not dealing with their side of the fence. So just be mindful of that. Anything you're trying to get up and off the ground, I do feel there's going to be a delay in. You're going to have patience with that, especially in business if you're wanting to change direction. And if somebody's being very forceful towards you to make a decision, I do feel that a lot of what's going on is in the family domain. There is a lot of movement, and I feel you're going to be actually super social this month, but it's going to make you very tired at the same time. You're not willing to jump in the deep end of anything you're not passionate about. Again, I am almost seeing a Virgo frequency. So this can be you're actually directly dealing with Virgo, or it can be that you're needing to take that energy on board in your domain. And it's like you're wanting to see the truth of situations. And unless you see the truth, you're not willing to invest in it. So you're being very cautious with your heart chakra. I'm also seeing you trying to get your foundation correct. So it might be on your side of the fence or in general life and within your family domain. A lot of your energy is going into family. Again, I am seeing it being quite a social month, but I'm also seeing if you have an unwell relative or responsibilities connected to family, even if you are partnered, you're going to your biological family or your tribe family and spending time with them during a process. I'm also seeing an announcement of a friend getting pregnant or somebody external to you getting pregnant. Some of you are going to actually look at directly after Mercury retrograde, and it can be something that you're already in the midst of doing as well, that you may wish to get into a health kick. And it can be that you're looking at your diet, that you're looking at your nutrition, you're feeling more sluggish. It can even be health checks that you're getting done. Pay attention to these things. If you are investing in them, I am seeing they're going to be quite successful. But again, I am seeing you to be quite busy. What else came through? Let me make sure I haven't missed anything. I feel through the grapevine you're going to hear from someone who was very close to you. And I do feel they may have been a potential past love interest or someone who was genuinely very close to you. You're also going to get news from somebody from afar, and it's going to make you feel very happy. Try and look around you at the love that is there. Sometimes we tend to get to a place where when we're feeling down, we don't feel the love around us, but I am feeling a vibration of that. It might be that you're seeing bee totem. And again, Google that and see how that directly relates to you. But anytime you see an insect or an animal totem, especially when there's something you're meditating upon, research that because it'll have a direct message for you at that time. I'm also seeing you being very frustrated with travel. I feel there's a lot of comings and goings. A friend that you're going to hear from, this might be either in your family. Again, I'm feeling it very close. And I do feel you're really particular about who you allow in your circle. So with this circle, I am feeling as though there are people that are very close to you that you call family. And there's also your direct kin. It feels a connection to that circle that somebody has passed over. and you may be attending, and it's something you'll already know, or somebody who's already been unwell and they've just recently passed. I do feel that you're going to be attending and supporting this individual through this process, and it might even be through the telephone or email, but I'm feeling this energy of support there. Interesting. Some of you also are going to be verbally speaking in a large crowd, and this can be at a funeral, but it's feeling a separate energy. It can be connected to your education. It could be at your workplace. You've got multiple ideas how this can go. If you're working in the area of communication, you might find it more difficult, again, connected to Mercury retrograde. We also have Venus, an aspect of Venus coming through in your reading. Let me explain. I feel you're trying to beautify a situation. That's by the 20th. There's an area that you had wanted to manifest, and this was around January, and something took a spin at left field. You weren't quite expecting it. You're going to be really surprised of something that somebody says, as well as the way that they're going to directly communicate with you. And it's either there's gossip coming through the grapevine about a situation that you've been wondering about, or it's that it's coming directly from the horse's mouth. I feel as though you're going to be looking back and remembering some key point things that happened around a time with this communication that comes in, and it's like you're going to put all the pieces of the puzzle together and it's going to completely make sense to you. You'll be speechless. You've got this card in reverse. It's like directly after the fact of hearing this news, and it can be about somebody who you're romantically wondering about. I'm telling you, your reading's really oozing love. Super strange. The others haven't been so, but yours really is. It's almost like when you hear this through the grapevine, you won't know what to say. Now, it can be good or bad. Regardless, whatever this download is or whatever this sharing of knowledge is, you're just not quite going to know how to look at the situation directly after. I'll leave it on that note. Again, I will do a mid-month check-in. And if I am feeling additional energy, I will do an additional video for your zodiac sign. I just feel really in general you're quite heavily focused in on love and how to balance the situation. You're really going to be busy though. So try and not burn the candle at both ends. I feel if you can really keep quite balanced and understand, if you're having trigger points, I feel you're going to handle March quite well, especially since if you can detach from the situation, say throat chakra again, won't know what to say. If you can detach from the situation and meditate on anything that's happening around you at the moment, it's really going to help you make it through March. We do have the following month 3 planets retrograde, so it's almost like we're looking at 2 months worth of paused energy, delays in situations. Again, try and be patient with that. It is a temporary situation, and just know that that is going to come to a place where it's going to balance out. I shall be back shortly.